So, how is everyone? I hope you're all well. So, the Idaho murders, where are we? Are we any further forward than where we was when this very first was announced to the public? Personally, I don't think we are. Personally, what I do see is a law enforcement outfit struggling to cope with the intensity of what is the biggest case that they have had to deal with. There has been criticism about how they have indeed dealt with it. The fact that they have given so much information out to the public, and it has been noted by professionals that they kind of cringe when law enforcement starts to give information because they feel that the public has an obligation to know certain things. And that's not the case. And it's that struggling to balance with what the public need to know and what they don't need to know, and how they get that across to the public. And that is something in this case that we're seeing them struggle with time and time again. You know, they have been good enough to come out and do the press statements, but do they need to do so many? And when they come out, do they need to give the information that they are indeed giving? Ultimately, the public needs to know that they are safe. So they were criticised, first of all, because they had turned around and said, look, there is no imminent danger to the public because this was a personal attack. It was a targeted personal attack. And the criticism came because they were like, well, you can't say that because we don't know that. And that then raises more and more questions that the public are still wanting to be answered surrounding that statement. The coroner came out and gave information, the chatty coroner gave information about where the injuries were on the victims, saying that they had been stabbed multiple times around the abdomen, that there was defensive wounds, that they believed that they had been ambushed while they sleep. This is all information that the public doesn't need to know. They don't need to know that, but they came out and said it all the same. So people then start, speculating. They start painting their own picture of what happened in this house. But what facts do we know? Ultimately, what do we know? What we do know is that 4 students lost their life. They lived together in a house off campus, and a house where they would have parties most night of the week, and they would go out and drink. Typical student life. A life that I left many, many, many years ago. And some people have come forward. There's been video footage that many people have seen, has circulated, the food truck footage. And we're now hearing that new people have coming out and they've said things, that the girls had been rushed. They'd actually left that food truck without paying. They'd been let to go without paying. They jumped in the car with dark windows that was seemingly asking them to come. But law enforcement did say that car, whoever was driving that this person has been spoken to and they do not believe that they had anything to do with it. But ultimately, they all add to the little things that happened on this evening leading up to what eventually would happen. It was said that they were in a club. They were very, very drunk. But again, is that abnormal for a student to be in a club and be drunk? Why would these specific students stand out amongst the many that would be in the exact same position? And that's what you have to figure out in these cases. It's not about what they were doing, it's what made them different. What made these girls different than anybody else? Like at the moment, there seems to be a lot of focus on the girls from the club and not so much the couple. And we can't even get that right yet. And that leads you back to this was a targeted attack. Well, who was the target? We don't know that. And again, that proves that by them releasing that statement, it asked too many questions. Was the target the building itself and not so much the people within it? We're also seeing information come out about Venmo transactions. Another Jack has come into the equation. If you haven't seen, here's some pictures here. This is stating that payments were made, and one of the payments that was made to Jack's sister actually had the reference 3:30 a.m. And that may mean nothing. But when you think that authorities say that these murders happen sometime after 3 a.m., it does raise some questions. And this Jack, whose sister the payment had this reference, he was the first person to donate to a GoFundMe, a fundraising platform, made a donation of $6. And then there was speculation into what did the $6 mean anything? Why not 10? Why not 5? Why 6? What did that mean? Did that refer to the amount of people who was in the property? The 4 people who died and 2 people that was left? Was it $1 per head? Who knows? And this is me just showing how things can escalate and you can make everything mean something if you truly want to. But we are no further forward. Ultimately, we are no further forward. We don't know who done it, why they done it, where they are now, where's the weapon, where's the person, whether anybody is indeed safe, whether they're not, whether it's going to happen again. And we don't even know whether law enforcement have what it takes to bring this to a conclusion. So what I say to everybody is to be safe. You have to be safe. Be vigilant. Make sure those around you are safe. Don't let anybody be walking, especially students, who are clearly the target at the moment. It would lead you to believe of that. Don't leave anybody on their own walking around at night. Be together. Make sure your doors are locked, your windows are locked. Because until this is brought to a conclusion, nobody can say anything. And this isn't about scaremongering, this is about speaking facts. And that's a harsh reality. Let me know what you think at the moment. Is there any news out there? Is there anything that points towards anybody being a potential perpetrator? It just seems to me that when you look at the overall evening, it's no different than any typical student night out. Go out, get food. The only thing that sticks out to me is the fact that this car had pulled up. It was seemingly rushing these girls. They were told to hurry up to the point where they didn't pay for the food because they had to go. What did they have to go for? Was it because they were meeting someone? What was so important that they had to leave there and couldn't even pay for their food? Do these references, do these payments in Venmo mean anything? Was there an outstanding debt, and that debt would later be paid in violence? My final thought will be this. This is an extreme murder. This isn't someone going into a house and killing one person. This isn't someone waiting until they're on their own somewhere and doing it. This is someone entering a house that was renowned for having multiple people, and there were 6 people, gone into this house and they have murdered 4 people. And they've not been found. No weapons, no nothing. They didn't leave anything outside that property. They got out of there scot-free. So is this a seasoned person? Is this someone who planned this meticulously? Because I don't see, if this was a debt, this was a rage-filled thing. This was, like they've turned around, a crime of passion. There'd have been more clues, in my opinion. For there to be nothing, I just feel there's something more to it. Something that we haven't seen yet. Let me know what you think down below, and I will catch you all in the next one. Take care.